Live from the Echo Network Studios here in Royal Oak, Michigan. This is Odd Musings, and we're back from San Diego. I'm Brent Pinson, and this is...
I am Scott Zambelli.
And we are tired. And it's not tired because the show wore us out. That did a little bit. We're tired because we spent 4.5 extra hours in Chicago and didn't get in. Actually, we got in to Detroit Airport exactly 1 week from the time that we had to get there to leave to go to San Diego.
Yeah.
Which was not planned. By that point, I was supposed to have been sleeping for like 5 hours. So.
Yeah, it is an exhaustive show in and of itself. Honestly, actually, I'm doing better than I usually am at this point.
I feel like I do after I've done a big show, but I drove like 2 days back.
Typically,
yesterday was not a restful day for me. So.
Typically, I need a solid 3 or 4 days to recover, and honestly, I think, like you said, the airport fiasco we'll talk about in a bit definitely wore me out. But I think overall, my energy levels are way better, only because we did Airbnb. We had a place that was off-site, just a few miles away, but it gave us a chance to really recharge at night and come in fresh. Whereas usually it's insanely exhaustive, this show. Yeah. So overall, I'm doing well. I think one more day and I'll be back on track with my full energy
I got to work
levels.
tomorrow, and then I leave on Friday because I'm headed down to Florida to do the Tampa Bay Comic-Con next weekend, but I'm spending a few extra days at my sister's and Universal, so I won't be here next week with Scott. Scott will be here doing something with somebody, maybe.
That's right. I will definitely be here. We will have... I'm going to see if I can wrangle a guest.
Wrangle. Or wrangling. Yeah.
So, San Diego Comic-Con. This was your first time there.
Yeah, this is my first time attending in any capacity. So.
Yeah, so what were just rattle off some initial impressions and
Well, I mean, the initial thing is just like everybody knows. It's huge. It's a big hall that they take over. And the thing is, technically, even the floor for the exhibit hall doesn't take up the entire main floor of everything, because a big section of it, the corner, is Hall H, which could be actually floor space if they ever wanted to do that and expand the show out more. But realistically, it's still a giant show.
Yeah. Well, Hall H, I think I read it fits 5,000 to 6,000 people.
Right.
So that's a big...
No, I mean, it's big. And what I'm saying is just exhibitor hall space. Yeah. If they wanted to expand the exhibitor hall floor, they could do it into Hall H, move Hall H somewhere else. Problem is they use every inch of that facility for either the exhibit floor or panel rooms. And they have like what they call the sales, which is like the middle area, which is where they had all the autographs, as well as this places we had to go check in to get badges, or every day I had to get a sticker. I had to get a sticker so I could come in with these guys and hang out in that. But no, my initially is, I mean, it's the largest show I've ever been to in terms of size as well as people, because besides the convention center, the entire downtown area becomes Comic-Con. The Gaslamp district is also tons of pop-up shops, which I got a chance to check out some of that. I missed the one thing I'm really mad I missed about as my mic fell. So one thing I was mad about, not really mad, but just I didn't realize this, and it was over past the stadium. It was a couple blocks from the Gaslamp. They had an Orville experience, and they actually had tons of stuff for props. I was like, I didn't see it listed anywhere. And then also it's like, oh yeah, we had like, and then I noticed some stickers on the ground on the last couple of days we were there, and I'm like, okay, because I got one of those same stickers at where they had the model inside the show, but none of them said, oh, you should go check out the experience at this place. Yeah. So it's
hard because
I would have.
It is so sprawling, the area outside of the show. There's so much to do. Yeah. And it really is hard to keep track of everything going on, because so many of these studios or shows actually rent out entire buildings or facilities and convert them, like the Good Place where we ate.
Yeah, it was the Hard Rock restaurant.
They converted to the
interdimensional hole of pancakes.
Yeah, so the IHOP. So, and then they have a themed menu, and then you get the honor of paying way more money than you should.
Oh yeah, food. Way overpriced.
Way overpriced.
And then and they also had inside there. I didn't go to but it was still good. Yeah, Superstore, another one of their shows, was inside the Hard Rock at the other restaurant. Yep. So or store or something like that.
Or for instance, like the new Picard show, which we'll be talking about also.
They turned a museum.
Yep. They had props and costumes.
They took over a gallery and made a museum. I saw that. I'll talk about that today.
And then you just got the pandemonium of all the people itself.
Yeah. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. I walked around outside on Thursday, so I got a chance to really check out the gas lamp area and some of the stuff. I didn't go in everything because lines were just ridiculous. Because the thing is, outside the convention center, you don't need a badge. So tons of people come in just for the outside stuff.
Well, there's that. Plus, you got people who, they have a lottery system for the badges. So you might have, out of the 5 days, you might have Thursday and Sunday access. So what are you going to do Friday and Saturday? Well, you're going to do all the outside stuff.
Right.
So all the people who have 1 day or single day passes they're spending the rest of their show outside of the con, and it really is just huge how far it goes out, how many buildings are all converted, the advertisements that cover the whole buildings.
Yeah, it covers, if you're in front of the convention, went all the way down through the hotels, down towards the embassy, because I went down there with my friend Enrica when we went to dinner on Friday. She wanted to go there, drop her stuff off, and then we head out to dinner from there, and you see everything. And then they had a park set up for Fox, so like Simpsons theme, stuff like that. Then they had the Amazon Prime next to that.
That's a whole park.
Which that one was huge, and they had a lot of reveals going on there. They also had stuff
Ferris wheel there.
They had a Ferris wheel for the Fox. They had the Boys, which is the new show from Amazon, which starts in a couple days.
They were advertising that very heavily.
Yeah, it was on buildings. The Amazon Prime section had a big thing for that. Also, The Expanse, which has got a new season coming out, was being heavily promoted at the Amazon Prime Park. Basically, is what it was.
Yeah,
and then you go over there was the South Park mini golf. Shazam had a presence with the Winter Carnival based on the movie, along with a Detective Pikachu thing set up.
Yeah, so there's just so many things out there where you can go through, which is really cool because you're a typical convention. Once you leave the hall, there's nothing else.
Yeah, there's nothing outside. Or
even
else.
Large conventions like Phoenix, their outside presence is only like a little tiny blocked off street.
No,
I mean, it's still a lot of cool
they had stuff out
there,
back. I went out back on Thursday as well, and they had the big area for Adult Swim, and they had their own version of a carnival. I saw the Rick-mobile from Rick and Morty. They had a couple of things from Squidbillies. I mean, a couple of things they had set up. I was like, okay, they're still airing reruns. These shows aren't even new anymore, but they still promote that stuff.
Right.
And then, of course, they had the IMDb boat, which they did a lot of interviews on and had parties on, things like that.
I'm sure you had to have a very thick wallet to get onto that boat.
You had to be I went up to her and said, okay, tell me about this IMDb boat. And the girl goes, well, you have to be an invited guest. I said, well, obviously, I'm not. And I had no clue.
Didn't you say?
She's like, well, tomorrow between 12 and 12:15, we're doing a trivia contest, and the top 100 people have a chance to get a pass to come on at some point. I said, that sounds great. I won't be here.
Well, did you tell them about how people have acknowledged you as an actor?
No, this was before that. This was before that happened. I was one of the things I did a chance to meet different people. One of the things I did was there's a new Cuphead TV show on Netflix based on the video game called Cuphead. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Cuphead. It looks like an old 30s cartoon, and it's a basic. It seems like I played a little bit, and basically you're fighting bosses the whole time, and you run to different places. But there's a new show coming out, and it looks interesting. But there's a couple of guys that I think they're the showrunners. I really don't know who they were, but I had James like, hey, you want a free ticket to get an autograph on the poster? I was like, sure, why not? So I go to do that, and they bring me over to the booth at the one line, and the girl goes, oh my God, are you an actor? I said, well, yes, I am.
Which is not a lie.
Not a lie.
You do have an IMDb credit.
She looked at me. She goes, I thought so. I said, well, you should check out my new movie, 5 Must Die. It's on Amazon Prime, which everything I said is absolutely 100% true.
Yes. She didn't ask you how long you were in the movie.
Nope. She didn't ask me how many movies I've done or anything else. Right. I've worked on one movie which is my actual IMDb credit is actually working on a movie called Hatred of a Minute as a production assistant, which I'm in the credits. And then this one, I'm in the credits as well, but I'm not listed on there because it's a very small independent production. But it is available on Amazon Prime to watch, and it was shot around Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, Michigan. It was last name is Vincent. He's also a lawyer in that area. And then my buddy Kevin James is the one that I put the call out a couple years ago, and I got a chance to go in and do that.
Nice.
It was one scene. It was just a finish up scene for the show. And it was cool. And when I watched the movie, go to the last 45 seconds, and there I am. And they have a close up of my face coming through.
They do.
So it's pretty cool. So I did not lie. So I am an actual actor now.
But one place...
I should apply for my SAG card.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
But one place where you are more than a celebrity at is Loringer Family Chiropractic.
Darn right. I was there yesterday morning. I woke up and I was like, I can't sleep anymore. I'm going to go to the chiropractor. I had an appointment set up for the evening because I planned on working yesterday and I couldn't work. I was just too tired.
Yeah.
Being up as long as we were, because we got home 5 hours later than expected. Almost about 5 hours. But I got up, went to Loringer Family Chiropractic, where my journey to wellness began there. And yours can too. You can build a healthy lifestyle with chiropractic care at Loringer Family Chiropractic Center, PC, located in Belleville, Michigan and Dexter, Michigan. They take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient. They offer on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. You can give them a call to Belleville location 734-697-4244. Visit them online at LoringerFamilyChiropractic.com. We do have a link at oddmusics.com under this sponsorship page, just to make it easy for you on that. And speaking of the x-rays, it was nice. I mentioned a little bit last week there. I think I mentioned last week. I got a fender bender the week, and I went Monday before we left to go to San Diego and got adjusted because it was, and they did the whole thing. They did x-rays. They did the scan of my back to show how everything was. She goes, this is your normal, and then this is where you are now, and everything you tell was everything was way up. And it wasn't but a small fender bender,
right?
But it was just enough to jar me pretty good. And I'm still feeling it from that. She said it's going to take me about 12 weeks or so of adjustments for them to probably get me where I need to be at, and they'll reevaluate. Then. But I feel it. My back. I mean, I did a ton of walking at San Diego, but I can definitely feel it and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the very first day we were there was like 13 miles.
Yeah, well, we did. We walked the airport when we got there early because we were both like, okay, let's just walk. I don't want to sit because I might start nodding off. Nod off on the plane.
We're going to be on the plane for 5 hours, so like I didn't want to sit for an hour.
Yeah, and so we wandered and then and got us like a coffee and did that. And once we got to Denver was our first stop. We got to Denver. We had a couple hours to grab some lunch there, so we didn't want to eat too early. But yeah, we walked. We walked probably a few miles just in Detroit's airport.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Denver, we did some walking, but I had shoe problems.
Yeah,
my back of my heel of my tennis shoe broke off, and so I had to get some new shoes once we got to San Diego. But till then, I still walked. I could walk, okay. I just had to be careful. I didn't want to twist my ankle.
Yeah.
But we did a decent walking in Denver. But after we got food, and then we did a little walking, like, oh, it's time to get on the plane, and we were on our way to San Diego. In that, but yeah. So I mean, by the time we got to San Diego, we took the lift over to the Skechers store. I got me some new shoes, and then we had to walk the 3 blocks up to the convention center because it was right there, which was perfect. It worked out really nice for that. Because we were talking about, okay, we'll get there, and I have to lift over to the convention center, but I didn't realize how close it was until we were actually there.
Right.
And it worked out perfect. And we get to the convention center, and we're of course dragging suitcases, and we have to go upstairs. We take the elevator, and we had to walk and go get in line to get the badges and
all that fun stuff.
And my sticker. I got my first sticker of the week.
Yeah,
I joked. They kept calling it a sticker, and it's funny. One guy goes, "You can take your sticker off." I said, "Oh no, I have a sticker, and it's a souvenir, and it's a fan." He looked at me like, "All right, dude." I was like, "Exactly, leave me alone."
So one of the benefits of getting there early is we went to go set up and get everything, but our area wasn't done yet. But it gave us a chance to run into our friend Sammy Castillo.
Yeah, and Sammy was gracious enough to let us store a bunch of the bags there that we didn't need to take back to the condo.
And while there, I took the opportunity to purchase one of their shirts.
Yeah, she's got some new Castillo shirts. She's got two. She's got the Jack Skellington one, which she was doing painting on, and she's painting Oogie Boogie on there.
Yeah, she did a little sketch in fabric paint, that glow-in-the-dark fabric paint.
Which is really cool. And then she's got another one, which is the Castillo Studios emblem in that, and that's actually what she's going to get for me in a bigger size. She didn't have the bigger sizes.
So it was nice catching up with her.
Chatted with her a little bit, saw the new setup, a bunch of new artwork she's done for the show, which looked great. Yep. So we did that, and then we left, and we went to get lunch.
We got lunch and went to our Airbnb, which was great.
But we got to Airbnb, and then we checked in, and all we did was drop our stuff off because they started to clean it from the previous people. But it was nice to be able to at least just drop our stuff off, and then the nice thing about it was nice. It was like 73 degrees, which it'll fool you. It definitely, the feel for us, it feels warmer than that. They said it feels like 75. I'm saying, no, it feels like 82 here in Michigan. But that's that real feel for how you different places and that.
Yeah.
And from there, it was time for us to actually head back to the convention center. We did a little walking in the area and got a coffee. It's all there. Nice, quiet area we were in.
It's a very nice area, and that's where the place we got, it was 2 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. We comfortably fit all 3 of us, and I think that really was a key part of how I felt throughout the week. Is I felt much more restful because it gives you a chance to get away from the show.
Yes.
Everything was so much more affordable. We were able to do a full shopping trip to the grocery store, so we made our own breakfast in the mornings. We made sandwiches to bring into the show, because when you buy the food right in the downtown, it is insanely expensive. But you know what else?
And they do overinflate, because they had special, all the place said, here's our Comic-Con menu.
Yeah. So, but you know what else is expensive? While we were there, I was, being a realtor, I was checking out the real estate prices.
Yeah.
The house is there for a 1,500 square foot house built in 1926, for instance. No basement, no updates to the inside. The ranges were like $800,000 to $950,000 with no updates, no basement, a yard that's like literally 10 foot by 10 foot.
Yeah, it's not. There's not much.
So it's pretty crazy. And there was a house that was for sale that did sell while we were there. I mean, at least the sold sign went up while we were there. And so it was just interesting from a realtor's perspective to pull up the local area.
It's been an expensive area for, of course, decades now, but it's definitely interesting to see and you get up close to the homes and it's like, okay, they look okay and they look functional.
Yeah.
But they're not spectacular.
They're not. If you want spectacular, you now have to go up to like $2 million.
Oh yeah, you're in the millions and that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy on what they want there. So,
but you don't have to pay that much here, which is nice. And if you do, if you do want to buy a house here, even if you want an expensive house like that, which will be much bigger, call Team Titans. Why? Because you matter. Team Titans specializes in the real estate markets of Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne counties. While we use the latest in tools, social media, and technology to maximize your results, we never forget that real estate is still a people's business. Our relationships with our clients will always be our number one priority. You can call me at 586-549-6096 or visit us online at www.teamtitansofrealestate.com. We'll be glad to help you out. One quick example, I might have mentioned it before. There's a certain house I've been keeping track of because they ended up choosing a discount realtor instead of us, and because they wanted to save money. So they wanted to save about $6,000 on commission by going with the cheap realtor who promised them they could sell this house for much more money. Well, they did a massive price drop over the week while I was gone. The house is still for sale. They've dropped it $20,000 below what they thought they were going to sell for.
Right.
Still hasn't sold. They still haven't done a single open house on it. The pictures are still the crappy pictures. This agent went through the house, didn't even turn on a single light in the house. The pictures look horrendous. The house is a beautiful house.
Yeah.
The pictures don't show it as a beautiful house. The main picture still has the for sale by owner sign that they had originally laying on the ground on the grass.
Oh, jeez.
That's what you get when you get a discount person. They overpromise and underdeliver. We don't do that. We tell you, we show you the numbers. We let you see how we came up to our conclusion.
Well, everything I've seen with you and Jill is when you guys get a new listing, one of the first things you're trying to plan is, okay, well, we're going to have the open house. We're going to get this out there.
That's a key part of our whole plan.
You're looking to actually get people coming looking at it and not just saying, we're going to throw a sign up, we're going to,
so many agents
add it to the listing.
So you'd be amazed at how many times people, when you interview people, one of the first things they do typically is, oh, you don't need an open house. That's just a waste of time. It's not a waste of time. It's a big part of your marketing plan. It gets fresh eyes into your house, potential buyers into your house, but it also puts pressure on people who have seen your house, like your house, and know an open house is coming. It puts urgency to their decision, and so that it's like, well, I like this house. Do I want to keep looking, or do I want to risk that somebody will see it this weekend and make an offer?
Right.
It's a key part in us getting better offers in for you and everything. But I was recently talking to an agent who was asking me about the open houses we do. And they're like, I haven't done an open house in over 5 years.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't know. But anyways, we work for our money. and we work for you. We try to maximize what you get, and our numbers prove it. On average, the average agent in the MLS gets 98% of asking price. We average a little above asking price. We're at about 100.2%, which right there, that's 2% more than what the average agent's going to get. There's a big name,
and that right there, the $6,000 they're trying to save more than pays for it. So
there's a big name agent out there who I won't say the name, but they publicly advertise as a positive how we average 98% of all asking price. And it's like, so you're advertising you are completely average, but they don't tell you that that's the average.
That's because the average person doesn't know that it's average. They think it's something spectacular.
Right. Actually, 98.6% is the actual average, so they're technically below.
You can tell me off the air who it is.
Yeah,
I have a feeling who it is, but
but anyways, anyone can throw out numbers to you.
It's just like anything.
But when to this particular example I'm given, to save $6,000, he has now lost $20,000.
Yeah.
Do the math. You're better off paying the higher commission to make the more money. It's better for you.
Well, if he doesn't sell, you should go to him and say, look, we'll do it, but we're now at 8%.
Well, yeah.
Because now you got to do more work to try to fix the problem that's already happened.
So back to Comic-Cons. Comic-Con. So one of the questions people always ask right away, the first question I usually ask, so did you see any celebrities? That's usually what everybody asks. So
and yes, they saw me.
Yes. Yeah, I know that. I know the man from
Five. I know future victim number 2.
But one of the benefits that Brett had is he wasn't set up. He was there as a fan, so he got to actually go to a lot of things I don't normally get to.
And I'm glad I made the decision not to even attempt to get a table,
right?
Because I could have showed up my stuff.
You got to have fun.
And even Kevin pointed out, he goes, "Oh my God, you're having so much fun! I can see it." I hadn't had this kind of fun at a Comic-Con in years because I set up so much, and the few times I've gone to shows on the other side of the table as a fan has been, limited time, or it's like, okay, I've seen everything, I know everybody here, and I chat with people, that's fine. This gave me a different opportunity, and
you actually got to sit in some panels.
Yeah, I went to panels,
which we never get to do.
Yeah, I had the couple. I only saw a few I really wanted to do. A couple of them I would have loved to do them, but I wasn't going to stand in line for hours on end just to try to get in and catch the panel, because to me that was just too much time wasted, because there's so much stuff to see and do. But I did go and I sat in the Leonard Maltin panel, which was great. It's called Leonard Maltin, You're Wrong.
And for those who don't remember, Leonard Maltin was a very acclaimed...
a very acclaimed television or movie critic.
The average person has no clue who he is, though.
I think people do anything. The reason is he does, besides his online stuff he does now, he doesn't print the book anymore, because there's no need to print it. And you can still get copies out there, because you don't need it for anything new, you just get it for the classic stuff. He has his website where he does all his new reviews. He does a podcast, which I didn't realize he did a podcast, but he's over like 200 something episodes.
I've actually seen one episode of it.
Yeah, it's with his daughter.
Yep.
But he also does, and I knew this for years, he also does a lot of stuff with Turner Classic Movies, and he hosts a lot of the stuff they do and talks about history, introduces films, and do different things a few times a year.
Yeah.
So he still pops up there, and that's where most people, I think, today know him, is from the TCM stuff, and a little bit from his reviews. But the neat thing was his daughter introduced it and said, the reason we do this is, at home, we're always telling him, you're wrong. And she used Empire Records as an example. He goes, he gave it a 1.5 stars, and I berated him for that, and it took him years. I think he brought it up to a 2.
Yeah.
But and the beauty of Leonard Maltin I've always liked and respected on his reviews was it is truly his opinion, and you see this in this panel, because when people come up and say, all right, you gave Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Souls a 4-star. Let me go through the list on what did you wrong. Shia LaBeouf. Right. This Shia LaBeouf. I mean, he listens to Shia LaBeouf like 4 times. Yeah. And I knew him, though. The guy was as another online presence that he knows, and so he's kind of having fun with Leonard, and they do it every year.
Yeah.
But he talked about that, and at the end it boiled down to him saying, "Said this a lot of people was that's really great you feel that way, and that is your opinion as well as mine." And they always left. Nobody was mad. There was nobody really got nasty or anything like that. But the neat thing was afterwards, his daughter's like, "We're going to go outside and take selfies," and I happened to be right there, and I was one of the first ones to come by. And I said, well, where's these selfies going to take place? He goes, we'll do it right here. So I took a selfie. They mentioned his wife. His daughter mentioned their mom. She goes, she's not here yet. She's doing that. She'll make a present. She always makes a thing. She's kind of goofy in her own character way. And that I think it's more set up than anything. And she showed up and she was like, Mom, just go over there instead. And a little banter. I saw her standing there. I said, well, since you were mentioned, can I get a selfie with you? She's like, sure, that's awesome. Because nobody asked her. And then I got one with his daughter too. I thought it was cool.
That is cool.
And it was really neat to meet them. And then from there, I left right away because I went to an animation panel with several artists. I don't have their names on top of my head right now that worked on.
Was this the Legends of Animation?
Yeah, and they worked on Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and one of the guys it goes all the way back to working on stuff in the 50s and 60s. So it was pretty cool to hear some of the stuff they talked about in that.
Yeah.
That was the one day I did panels, and then I did another panel. I have to run into some people I know. They were friends of a friend, and I've known them for a few years now, but they work in the industry. JP worked on a show that was it's on Amazon Prime. I forget the name. It was something Magic, Book of Magic or something like that. It was a kids live action show as a screenwriter. And then Jennifer works on, she's a costume designer. Well, I went to the panel that she's part of, and she wasn't in the panel. She sat with us. But it's Fred Savage's new show, and it's called That's Just Happened, and it's basically a parody of the After the Show shows. Right. They created a fake show that everybody in the world loves, and they talk about it afterwards. Well, this episode we get to see, which aired this past Sunday, get to see it early, and it was the show didn't air because of being preempted by a car chase in L.A. And so of course then the guy that's in the car chase calling goes, "You mean I preempted? That's my favorite show. I can't believe I'm being chased by the cops." And it was pretty funny. I liked it. I'd heard of it, but I hadn't watched it.
Yeah. How do you see that show?
I believe it's on Fox.
Fox.
Yep.
Okay.
And it's on Sunday nights.
Nice.
The other episodes are on Hulu. If you have
It
Hulu.
sounded funny, actually. This is where you hear about things like it's totally off my radar, but that sounds like something I'm just like, I think I'm gonna have to check that out.
Well, and watching it, I laughed out loud a few times, and it wasn't because these other people were with me and other people laughing. I'm laughing out loud because it actually really was funny, right? And and in a lot of ways, it's got a nice absurdity to it. So Joel McHale was like his guest on it as Joel McHale, and he, of course, is being it's a Fox show, but he's promoting his game show on ABC TV, right? And then he had another girl on it. I think it's one of the girls that stars in it. But then they actually brought out the cast of the fake show, and they got real actors like Sherry Appleby. She was in the show Roswell on CW, the original one, and then a few other things since then. So and the guy that's runs that part of it is actually one of the head guys from 24 and a couple other big shows. So they actually treat it seriously, though. They only have to do 2 minutes of that fake show, right? And it's always the last 2 minutes where she goes, "That's the best part of the show." So we set up the hook, and the beauty is we don't have to resolve it,
right? That is good.
So I had fun doing that one, and then I got a chance on Saturday morning. I went to a panel at 10 o'clock. It was the Warner Archives. If people don't know that, it's where they've been doing this with DVDs, and now really getting into Blu-ray restorations of different shows and TV movies and that. And two of the main guys from there, that do the podcast for them, were there. But then they brought out Tony Benedict. He worked for Hanna-Barbera as an animator as well as a writer. He wrote all the episodes of the Jetsons. The panel was about the new Blu-ray of the Jetsons. They showed us clips from of the restored footage. It looks amazing. Yeah. The colors are vibrant. You can actually see in the opening matte painting where they're zooming into the earth when the music kicks on. You can see the brush strokes from when they just painted it. And that's how clear it looks. Great. And it was a great panel time with them. They had another historian from Warner that was there. So a lot of cool questions, a lot of things they talked about. And then I got to meet him afterwards on Sunday at his table. He's actually right behind you in Artist Alley. And I got a picture from him signed of Astro that he drew. And then also got to meet Willie Ito, who is a animator whose first job was on Lady and the Tramp, working on the spaghetti scene, the most iconic scene. But he was also an animator on the Jetsons, and he was supposed to be in the panel, but he was running late because he couldn't get there in time, and there was traffic, and then getting through the crowd. So he just went to his table because he said that would have been like 5 minutes. But I got he was also worked on Hong Kong Phooey, which I always loved as a kid. So I got a original drawing of Hong Kong Phooey from him signed. Nice. So that was kind of cool. So those are the panels I did.
Yeah, you got those, and then I don't know if there were less celebrities on the floor than usual this year. Usually I run into more. I didn't really run into any say, Brian O'Halloran went by my table and just said hi. He said hi back.
Yeah.
I happened to catch the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. signing, which they did announce it's their final episode or final season coming up.
Season 7, yeah.
Kevin Miner had John Cryer stop by his table.
Yeah,
he actually stopped at his table. So
actually stopped and looked around for a second, yeah.
Yep, so that was cool. But you got to do the signing for The Rookie.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with The Rookie, it's Nathan Fillion's show that debuted this year. I've been a fan of it. I started watching it from the first episode and got hooked right away. And I saw they were doing a signing, and I saw that I didn't realize I could have got a preview night. Probably got a preview night. But Thursday I see it, and I walk up to a gal. I said, "How do I do that? How do you do the signing?" She goes, "Oh, well, tomorrow morning when the show opens, we're going to give out tickers. We're going to give out tickets, and you get a ticket to stand in line. And it says on there no guarantees, nothing like that.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So I got in line on the morning, Friday morning, and found out that, and I got my little thing, put it away so I didn't lose it because you got to have it.
Yep.
And you turn it in when you get up there. And the thing I made sure was on Saturday when the signing was going on, I was hanging around the area. The signing was at 3. I was over there at 1:30 hanging out, and when they allowed us to line up, I was like second in line.
Nice.
And because I wanted to make sure.
That's the funny part about Comic-Con is you have to wait in lines to get a place to then wait in a different line, and you're not guaranteed a place in the second line.
Yeah. And Saturdays, as we all know, is the big day. That's when all the big reveals are happening. They bring a lot of the bigger stars only there for a day. As I'm waiting, who walked by? Sir Patrick Stewart.
That's right.
And he walked by twice.
Also known as Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, Jean-Luc Picard. Talking about he was signing for his new Picard show.
Yeah, you got a nice picture of him walking by.
Yeah, he was literally like 4 feet away from me.
Yeah, he was really close to you.
And then I saw Patrick Warburton walk by with a couple other people. I couldn't really tell who they were as they were heading to the Fox booth to do the signing for Family Guy. I walked by the Orville signing, which I didn't get picked for, but I really wanted. But I did get a picture of Seth MacFarlane and a lot of the other cast members, which is great.
Which there was breaking news on them this weekend.
Yeah, we got a divorce.
Adrian Palacki.
Yeah,
and Scott Grimes.
They got engaged, married, and getting divorced now.
Yeah, 2 months later after getting married.
Yeah.
So no details were given, but it's just a shock, though.
It was.
They were just announcing how they were married. It's like, wait, what?
So it was a shame.
So that was
they were both there signing. So
and then 2 other quick ones that you were able to do. Dan Fogler.
Yeah, I was walking at the end of the show on I think it was Friday night. Either Friday or Saturday. I forget what it had been Friday night. And someone goes, "Hey, would you like to meet Dan Fogler?" I said, "I've met him before."
Now, for those who don't know who he is,
Dan Fogler. Most people know him now from Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, if you see him, you'll usually recognize.
Yeah, he plays the Nomad.
Although not anymore.
Yeah, he plays the Nomad that ends up with Queenie and his best friends with.
They erased his memory.
Yep, at the end. And actually he's lost a ton of weight.
That's where you might not recognize him anymore.
Yeah.
I totally didn't recognize him.
We were joking because I said, "Oh, let me take a selfie with it," because they had you pay for a selfie, and I said, "I said, son, waste your time. Let me do this." And I said, "Plus, I wanted a picture with you." He laughed. He goes, "Well, you didn't have to." I said, "Yeah, no, it's fine. Let's do this." And I said, "I'm going to take the selfie, and I'm having trouble getting out there." I was like, "See, you've lost all this weight, and I've only lost 60 pounds." He goes, "Oh man, that's great," because he's lost about 100 pounds easily. Easy. And then one of the guys there, I'd actually talked to before, one of the heavy metal guys. He said, "Let me take a picture for you." So it was a really good picture, but really nice. He worked on a book called something Creek, like Willow Creek or something like that, and it's like an anthology book. Yeah. I got it years ago in Atlanta. About 9 years ago was the first time I met him. And then I come to find out he worked on, I think it's either Megadeth or Metallica has a book through heavy metal, and he's one of the writers on that, so he's writing on that too.
Well, at least he's in 2 series where they can explain the weight loss. Like Walking Dead, he could get trapped somewhere for 3 weeks, then come out skinny.
Well, the trailer...
And then Fantastic Beasts, they could just do a spell.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling they'll probably put a chubby suit on him for that if he stays thin.
Because he does not look... When you posted the picture, I'm like... Who's Brett with? Then I'm reading the description, like, what?
Yeah, and the thing is that the trailer for Walking Dead dropped this weekend. It's actually the best trailer I've seen for Walking Dead in years.
And no one cared.
And I'm still not that excited.
No one cared.
But the one clip of him in it, you can see he was already thin. So, I mean, of course, they're shooting that now.
Right.
Or they have been shooting it for a few months, so they're probably on a break now in that. But real nice guy. If you ever have a chance to meet Dan Fogler, definitely do it.
He's got a comic book.
He does comic stuff. He's an actor. actor. He's done directing. He's done comedy stuff.
And all-around great guy.
It really is. I like that one. So.
And those of you who've listened for a long time may even remember we did a story on him a little while back. There was actually a death threat against him when he was over in the UK.
Yeah, for the London Comic-Con. Not too long, around the time that you did Paris.
Yeah, so that happened there. So thankfully, that was all, nothing happened with that. But
right.
So that's cool. And then the final one to mention, John Romita Jr.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
He's big in the comic book world.
Yeah. It was
amazing artist.
He's an amazing artist.
Legendary artist, you might say.
Yep. Oh no, he is. His dad, him, John Romita, and John Romita passed away a few years back. Did you get a sketch by him? I did not. I should have.
I think Kevin did.
Kevin did. I should have. It was only $30, and Kevin says howdy, by the way. Hey, Kevin, if you're still watching.
Howdy.
I did get the book signed by him, but just meeting him, getting a picture of him was a big thing for me. Because besides me, John and I both grew up loving the Romita's works, and when we were sharing comics and stuff like that, and so to actually finally meet him was a big deal.
Yeah,
and so I talked to him a couple times over the weekend. Just a great guy all around, so that was a big deal for me. I didn't know he was going to be there, and I just thought it was fantastic to meet him on that. But in terms of that side of it, it was neat to kind of fan out a little bit, and meet people. And I wandered through not just Artist Alley but Small Press, which are in two different places in the show, and got to talk to different people that do their own comics. Bought some here and there.
On Saturday, it's only a 1 hour walk to get from one to the other.
You know what helps with me getting through the whole show that day was the fact that it's just me. If you're with groups, you get bogged down.
Oh yeah.
The problem is people walk side by side, and it's like dummies just lined up.
And they stand in the center of the aisle to take pictures.
Yeah, they block everything. Oh, that looks really cool. Hey, step over there and take a look at it. There's a gap right there. Oh, I don't want to get close. Get the heck out of the way.
But I will say that the show itself, when they notice somebody stopping like that, they're right away saying, "Keep moving, keep moving."
Yeah, and there's places that get really bogged down, and they're like, "You need to keep walking. You need to keep moving."
It's already 10:35. Let's talk about who the biggest news of the weekend was. Marvel on Saturday.
Yeah,
they had announced their Phase 4 lineup.
Yes, and
and even hinted at some of the Phase 5 stuff.
Right. I mean, really, Phase 4 covers 2 years. The interesting thing about this change, Phase 4 from the previous phases, is they're incorporating half of it on the Disney streaming channel, and it's going to be their TV shows.
Those TV series, yeah, they're using that to kind of. I think this is smart because I think it'll avoid having this outlet will avoid like Avengers Ultron, where the whole movie was basically a setup piece for the next movie.
Right.
By having these shows, the shows can act as the setup pieces, so the movies can be the movies.
Yes. And it's some of it's going to be taking place during the initial 3 phases, it's going to eventually probably tie in stuff to Phase 4 and beyond.
I still think this all ties into what we had talked about in a previous episode. Well, they have now confirmed the Loki series is going to be about them trying to capture Loki during the Endgame movie, how he disappeared with the Tesseract.
Right.
Because they got to get him back in that spot so he can be arrested at the end of the first Avengers movie.
Right. And the thing is, for the release of the shows, it's in movies and that, we've got starting next year, stuff's coming out. We've got the Black Widow movie next year, and the Black Widow takes place prior to Avengers Endgame. And if you hadn't seen it, spoilers, it's been a couple months already. She died in Endgame, and it's confirmed she is dead. So this is actually her doing something prior to that, and they're actually introducing David Harbour as a superhero character.
From Stranger Things, he's the sheriff.
Yep, but Hellboy this year.
But while they're saying she's dead, it's just like Gamora. Gamora is dead too. But
no, everything I've read, they're confirming she's
dead from the original timeline. But because of the snap and everything else, she has a new version. She's a distinctly different character, and that's the thing with timelines. And they got the Doctor Strange 2 movie coming out called Multiverse of Madness.
Yes,
which is the Marvel's first horror movie they're advertising it as. But Wanda's going to be in it, the Scarlet Witch, and the WandaVision TV series takes place in the 50s. 50s?
Yes, that's what they're saying in the 50s, yeah.
So I have a feeling this is all going to tie into creating this multiverse and why we're jumping between these different shows.
And the thing right now, like with Black Widow, everything I've read has been slightly different what you're saying there in terms of that she's a different version. This one is actually prior to the snap, this movie is. So it's not a different Black Widow.
No. So, yes, that's not what I'm talking about.
But going forward,
yes, you're right.
They haven't confirmed anything with her going forward as Black Widow.
That's what I'm saying, is that because they're doing these time jumps, they could theoretically take the one from there, and even though she's dead here, she could still be in future movies.
But that hasn't been confirmed.
No, that's me speculating.
Yeah, okay. Because like I said, she's reprising with Stranger. He's playing Alexei Shotakov, which is the Red Guardian, which is known in the comics.
That's upstairs, by the way. It's not indigestion or anything on our part. Which, though, just a sidetrack really quick, if you're ever in San Diego or even Vegas, go to Hash House A Go-Go.
Hash House
Amazing
A-Go-Go.
food.
Giant food. Gives you giant poops.
Giant food for giant people.
But yeah, so the Black Widow is coming out next year. Yeah. May 1st, 2020 is the release date on that.
And they've revealed the Taskmaster is the supervillain.
Correct.
And for those who don't know, his superpower is when he fights you, he can learn your moves and mimic your fighting style, so he can perfectly counter everything you do.
Yes.
So he's amazing with the shield because he's fought Captain America and all this different stuff. So then you got Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Now that comes out in the fall of 2020, and that's going to be the first of the series coming out. Now, this is they didn't give us a lot on this. We know it's going to be them together, but the way it looks is from the end of Endgame, this is the transition to the Falcon becoming the new Cap.
Yeah.
So it's going to be handling some of that stuff there.
And my bet is, I think the secret to all this is, I think we're going to see Chris Evans in all this. He's going to be the unifying one. As I think it's him going through trying to replace everything and fix everything.
Yeah, and they're going to be teaming up against Baron Zemo. He's going to be the main villain for this.
Which they said they showed that actor holding the classic mask.
Yes, it's his familiar purple mask from the comics.
Yeah.
Also in November of 2020 is when we get The Eternals. That's a movie starring Angelina Jolie.
That was a big cast.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of people in there. Don Lee as the big bad Gilgamesh. Salma Hayek's in it.
Yeah.
So it's that's pretty cool. It's basically about a group of incredible immortals, and that's gonna help, I think, also start bridging the gap between them moving off-world at times too.
Yep. Now the Shang-Chi is going to be interesting because they are actually bringing the real Mandalorian in. I'm really hoping they bring Ben Kingsley back, though.
It would be
to tie in how the fake storyline worked.
Right, and what they've got is it's a superhero of Asian descent. Shang-Chi is a martial arts master played by Simu Liu. Liu is best known for his role in the Canadian sitcom Kim's Convenience, which is actually up on Hulu, I believe, or Netflix, one of those. Yeah. So you can actually check him on this. So he's got some comedy background. But it's the Legend of the Ten Rings. It's going to have the rapper who's also in Crazy Rich Asians, Awkwafina, and then Tony Leung will be in it. And he's well known for a lot of movies too.
And now, for those of you who are like upset about the Ben Kingsley role as the fake Mandarin, there was a really cool Marvel short they did where he got busted out of jail, and they said the real Mandarin wants to talk to you, and you see Ben Kingsley look a little like nervous, like, oh crap. So they, even way back then, they did reveal he was not the real Mandarin.
Right. So I think that'll tie. Hopefully, you bring it. Like I said, they need to bring him in this, and Tony Leung's playing Mandarin, so that'd be kind of cool to bring him in. And it's kind of like the Batman Begins twist on who was Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, and the thing with this is they have a chance if they do this right. They could actually that was Iron Man 2, 3. It might redeem Iron Man 3, knowing like whatever story they tell here, they might shed some more light on that story that would, in retrospect, make Iron Man 3
and we'll probably see like a little bit of Tony Stark in the background too again on that. But yeah, the next step after that, and coming in the spring, is WandaVision, which is the new Wanda and the Vision show, which is supposed to take place in the 50s. Olsen, who plays Scarlet Elizabeth Olsen, says it's going to get weird.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's supposed to be pretty cool.
According to Kevin Meinert, our industry insider source and friend. No, we were talking a little bit about this, like how does she end up in the 50s? And he mentioned in the comics she actually tore a rift or something in time, and she was able to do something like this. So maybe it's her attempt to bring Vision back to life or something.
Right. And then after that, they're showing May 7th, 2021 is when we get Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now,
this will be interesting.
They say it's the
they're
first
using multiverse in there
in the title, and the multiverse has been teased these last couple films.
Multiverse is everywhere now.
Yeah, although it was not confirmed in Spider-Man Far From Home, it was played like it was, because the actual Earth 616 was mentioned and that stuff.
But that was all part of the fabricated lie that Mysterio came up with, spoiler alert, to fool everybody. But now it's going to turn out to be true, it looks like.
Yeah, they've always said they were going that way. But then, of course, with the Loki series we talked about, that's going to come after that, and that's where we get the bit of Loki. I think that right there is where we're going to see
Captain America.
Some of the things that they'll be able to fix from the final snap that Tony did to replace certain things we need for going forward in terms of characters and that. So that should be an interesting series. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
What If is the one I'm probably most looking forward to.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you do this right, each episode is going to basically be like its own Twilight Zone. It's going to have what if the Wolverine was actually Mr. Fantastic?
That was probably my most favorite
I used to read the heck out of that comic.
I look forward to it every month when they came out with that. Marvel would take its spin on, what if it was...
well, this one says here, the show will explore ideas like, what if Peggy Carter picked up Steve Shield to become Captain America?
Right.
And include the voices of that. So I believe it's going to be animated.
Oh, really?
Which makes it even better. That means they can really go crazy with it.
I hope it's good animation. So I'm tired of all this crap they put out nowadays.
Yeah. And then in the fall, we get another TV show of Hawkeye.
Right. Now, a lot of people have been saying Hawkeye movie, but they're saying TV series.
It's a series right here.
This is saying it's a TV
series. This is Entertainment Weekly I'm looking at.
Right.
Make sure I got
and I would think their source is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's great because it'll give a chance to see that. I'm wondering, and they're not giving us any hints on that, I'm wondering if we'll see what he was doing prior to Endgame. So we see him, because we know where he was.
There was
he was on a vengeance thing,
but there was a leaked video of what they showed in Hall H.
Yeah,
there was no video of the show itself, but it was like kind of like the opening intro where it was like silhouettes moving and stuff. And based on what that showed, it looks like it's going to follow him training his daughter. Because you're seeing his daughter grow.
So this will be post Avengers.
Maybe it's that. So, but that's what it looked like, and we do see him in Endgame. Teaching her how to shoot. So it might be. It sounds like this is grooming her to be the next Hawkeye.
Right. And then following that, November 5th, 2021, we're going to get Thor, Love and Thunder.
I am looking forward to this.
Taika Waititi is back as the writer-director. You got Hemsworth. You've got Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie.
Now, what's interesting
and they're bringing back, what's her name? Playing...
Natalie Portman came out on stage holding the Thammer.
Yeah.
You were getting me.
That Thammer. With fire. That felt sicker. So we've got Thor, and then she's being told...
It's a lot of THs.
Yeah. Taika Waititi said she's going to be the mighty Thor.
Yep. So she
will have Thor powers.
Which is kind of what they did in the comic book here.
Right.
Jane took up the hammer. And now, what I'm curious about, though, is the hammer itself, because we got it in Endgame after it was destroyed, but Steve Rogers had to put it back.
Yes.
So that it was in the proper timeline. So the question is a new hammer forged?
Well, and that'd be interesting. Are we going to get the Forge Master to create a new one and go from there? Or
even that one, the original one, it was following MCU history.
Yeah.
It was when Thor was expelled from Asgard is when Odin put the spell on it that only someone worthy could do it. So Odin is the one that imbued it with the power. Odin's gone now. So even if they forge a hammer, will it have the power to transfer, or will they just ignore that it was Odin that put that spell on it?
Did they even acknowledge that in the MCU?
Yeah, in the first movie they showed it.
I've only seen that a couple times.
Yeah, when Thor was considered unworthy, or when he was expelled from Asgard to Earth, Odin put the spell on the hammer, and you see the script form across.
Right, yeah. And I think it's something that maybe maybe Thor can do it.
Is it going to be the same Mjolnir?
Since Thor is now actually with everything that's happened, it would technically be the head of Asgard.
Maybe he has the power to do it. That's a good point. Maybe he can do it.
Yeah. So we'll see that. Now, also
he has grown quite since Thor 1.
Right. And also announced was a new Blade movie. They're going to revive Blade, and it's going to be we have a new actor. Mahershala Ali is playing Blade,
which is interesting because this announcement pretty much totally eliminated consolidated Netflix MCU. Netflix from the MCU.
Yes.
It's not tied in at all anymore.
Yes.
They retconned it out because this was Cottonmouth in there.
Well, I mean, it didn't. You can still have people cross over. The problem is he's going to be a different person. It's the stuff they did on Netflix is still technically tied in, but I think it's never been fully acknowledged in the movies anyways.
No, it's gone.
It doesn't matter.
Because they're talking about bringing... They're going to recast Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. In the movie side of it, they're going to redo everything.
That's what I'm talking about. On the movie side, they're not... I think this is a sign they're totally getting rid of it, and they're looking to do potentially a whole new Daredevil and everything.
Yeah, but there's no release date yet for Blade. There's also no release date yet for the announced Captain Marvel 2, as well as Black Panther 2. And Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Those are all falling under now what's called Phase 5.
Right. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, they were selling T-shirts at the Marvel booth that said, "As Guardians of the Galaxy 3." So those were official T-shirts.
Yeah, but those all came from the last time.
No, I know that. But still, that's...
But what's interesting is that was actually supposed to be the first movie released before Thor 4.
Right. What changed is with Gunn having to go finish up Suicide Squad, because he signed up for that sequel, they pushed it back. So now we get...
It goes a step farther than that.
Well, I know.
He was kicked out.
We're not going to get in all that. But with him doing Suicide Squad, and they pushed that back...
They pushed that whole time frame back.
Thor up now. It's going to be interesting to see how Thor ties in prior to that. Is he going to get dropped off? Because we saw him leave at the end of Endgame with them, and they made the announcement that Guardians of the Galaxy. And of course, all that was done well prior to even Gunn leaving.
Right.
Not
so that whole thing is... That whole thing is going to get...
So we'll have to see what they do
in the works. We'll see. But I'm excited for all those. So Phase 5, that Feige.
Yeah, and we're not getting an Avengers movie like we did with it.
No more of that.
So they're moving on from that too.
He did tease Fantastic Four.
Yep.
He teased Mutants.
Yeah, he basically said Fantastic Four is coming back. He said we're going to redo that, and it's going to give it the proper handling. It's not going to, he says.
And my understanding from what I'm reading is they're going to treat this in a Steve Rogers kind of way. So the opening one is going to be kind of like the first Avenger. It's going to go back in time, and they're saying they're going to show Reed Richards existed back then and worked alongside a young Pym. Hank Pym. We're going to see Michael Douglas come back. They'll de-age him, do all that stuff. We're going to see them, and that they're the Fantastic Four, when the moment comes where they get their power, they get trapped in the negative zone, and then they are freed in Phase 5. They come back. So they're going to be the same age they were back then.
Well, and if they tie it into what we saw in Spider-Man Far From Home with the selling of the Stark building, it could tie into all of them coming in.
Right.
And taking over because it'll become the Baxter building.
Yeah, so supposedly, though, the Fantastic Four, they're going to do this whole, kind of like Captain America was frozen in ice for so many years. They're going to come back and from the past into now and be current superheroes.
Right.
So that's where the speculation is right now that I'm reading from, I think it was the Nerdist.
Yeah.
But
and again, a lot of it's still speculation until we see some finality on all that.
So all good stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Everything else that came out. Oh, the other thing that came out that it made me excited was Picard.
Yes, Picard. When they released the final trailer, when I first heard about it, I was like, okay, I've not been thrilled with Discovery. I know people really like it, not bashing it, and it was fine. I had a problem with what they initially said it was and what it became. So
although it is smart now on Discovery, they're now jumping 1,000 years into the future.
I didn't know.
Yeah, the next season, I guess the way it ended, I didn't watch it, but the way it ended, like they do this spore jump or whatever they call it, I don't know, but they end up getting sucked into the future. So the new timeline they're in is going to be 1,000 years into the future from that point. Oh. So they're actually going to be in a whole new timeline and not messing up with canon.
Right.
So that's where
that'd be fine then. But Picard, next thing is it takes right from the beginning of the trailer, you find out, okay, he retired to the family winery. He's got the Chateau Picard. In fact, I did the walk-through museum and they were selling T-shirts for it, but I bought a Star Trek hoodie.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So that was cool. A nice hoodie. It was a San Diego base or something?
Yeah, San Diego base. It was basically it was a Discovery one, but it's for San Diego. And I think it was probably leftover from last year, but I decided I didn't care. I wanted a new hoodie anyway. So
Picard looks sweet, though.
Yeah, and we have someone showing up, a female that there's a lot of speculation on who she actually is. But then he goes to Starfleet and says, this is what's going on. And basically it looks like he has to put together his own crew and his own ship. And we see 7 of 9. We know Riker's coming back, Deanna Troi. We see Data. But is it Data or B4? Yep. We don't know yet. So all those people are back.
Based on watching the trailer, I think it's Data, but
I do too.
Other people were saying it's this other one.
No, I think it's Data because they showed the drawer and opening up, and he had the pieces that were left over.
Right.
And I could see for like 20 years him trying to fix him.
Right.
But then we see him playing chess with him, and
so I think it's Data personally. Yeah. That's what I think.
I do too. I think it would be irresponsible of them not to have Data.
And then the only other surprise thing that popped up because we're running out of time here is Maverick, the new Top Gun movie, looks sweet from the trailer.
And yes, I did see the fake Tom Cruise walking through dressed up as Maverick. Yep. He walked right by me, and I knew right away it wasn't him. Although he looked like he could have been his stunt double at the time. But Tom Cruise did make an appearance at Hall H. I think the trailer looks amazing. I'm excited to see how they play everything out. I think it looks like there's Goose's kid could be in it because there's someone who looks just like him.
There's somebody who looks just like Goose. So I think you're accurate.
He's not going to be Goose. He's going to be Gosling, and not Ryan Gosling. It would be,
or could he be Duck? Two kids named Duck, Duck, and Goose.
It should be fun in that. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the reveals, San Diego Comic-Con was okay in the reveals. We did not get any Star Wars presence reveals. That'll probably happen at D23 next month.
Yeah, the only other big reveal had to do with the CW television, which we'll get into another time, which is the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, actually excited about that.
If these rumors come true, it's going to be epic. They're talking to Linda Carter, Tom Welling,
and it's the final season for Arrow, so that it leads all into what's going on there.
They're getting all of the classic people. We know Brandon Routh has been confirmed at coming back as the Christopher Reeve,
which is funny because in fact he was in was a Future Heroes of Tomorrow, whatever that show was.
Yeah,
League of Tomorrow,
League of Their Own, Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow, that's what it is. Yeah,
I could see someone having a line though going Ray, and he's like, "Who's Ray?"
Yeah,
it's just acknowledge that they look exactly the same.
Well, and being a different Earth, they could say
different. His paths cross.
Yeah, but it's interesting on that. So until next week, Scott will figure out a show and do by himself. I will not be here. I'll be somewhere else hanging out. Dominic, you got anything?
I will be miming for an hour.
I don't have anything till Michigan Comic-Con.
All right, we'll talk about that after I get back because we'll be leading up to that. So I guess till next time, Dominic, why don't you take us out, man?